I auditioned for Richard Beck in Reacher Season 3, which is currently airing on Amazon Prime. And even though I didn't get the role, I wanted to break down why exactly this audition didn't work, what I could have done better. I'm Tristan Spohn, a professional actor, most known for bullying children as number 2 in Stranger Things 4. Richard Beck, the only son of businessman Zachary Beck. He's quiet, a little scrawny, a target for bullies, sensitive and artistic. 5 years ago was the victim of a traumatic kidnapping. The kidnappers cut off one of his ears. His relationship with his father is strained, though he still loves the man. Again, daddy issues. I attract daddy issue characters for some reason.
What flavor is this?
Today's special, lavender infusion.
This is why people beat you up on the sidewalk.
There's a crack down the middle. Nothing some epoxy can't fix.
This is an awful first frame. Whenever you're uploading an audition to Actors Access, it takes the first frame of the video and uses that as my thumbnail. And this thumbnail is just my sexy little forearm in the corner. I would have started it where my face was already in frame. So I can still have the I'm sitting into it, but my face is on the frame, so the thumbnail is my face.
There's a crack down the middle. Nothing some epoxy can't fix.
Okay, cool. Rookie mistake. I'm looking into the shallow side of the lens instead of the deep side of the lens. It just looks less connected. If you look across the lens into the deep side of the frame, it's bringing the audience in and it makes them feel more like they're in the trenches with you instead of kind of a voyeur. Okay, cool. Oh, sorry. Ice. For your hand. That was cute. I actually did drop it on accident. And this is what I always tell my students is if something wrong happens, roll with it, make it part of the scene instead of ruining the scene, cutting it off, be like, oh crap, I accidentally dropped it. This scene is unusable. Those mistakes are what make it feel kind of organic in many ways. Basically, the premise of the scene is I'm giving him ice because he just beat up bullies that were trying to beat me up in the parking lot. And so I'm making sure there's some type of actual physical thing in my hand. Not that I'm gonna show on camera, but so that I, the actor, have something grounding me into the scene.
Thanks, don't need it. What flavor is this?
It was today's special. Lavender infusion.
This is why you get beat up in parking lots.
I can tell this is take 3 or 4 because there's a little tear in the corner of my eye after using a tear stick. The scene gets to an emotional part, and so it's almost like I'm trying to pretend as though I wasn't crying because I'm not at the emotional part yet. I'm gonna keep that in mind when I redo this scene at the very end because this is not just me theorizing and talking shop. I'm actually gonna go into the trenches and show how you implement these notes and why it makes that improvement. These guys have been messing with me since grade school, even before the ear. They always make fun of me for having no friends, no mom, no one really except for a rich piece of shit dad. Now I see why I decided to look into the shallow side of frame. I just don't think it was the strongest way to go about it. I think I realized how much of this audition was very reflective. And so I decided I want the audience to connect with my reflectionville more than I want them to connect with my relationship to Reacher. And when the show is called Reacher, don't do that. I used to have this fantasy that one day I would grab a set of keys, just steal one of my dad's cars from the garage, pound through the gate, and disappear.
If that's the kind of life you want for yourself, I can help you get there.
Yeah, this is like too sweet. It almost feels naive. There's so much at stake. I've been kidnapped in the past with my ear cut off because of what's been going on. I'm just like, yeah, I've always dreamed of just, getting keys and getting the fuck out of here. Just with the biggest smile on my face possible. It just feels like I'm not taking this seriously.
But I can't do that if you don't tell me what the hell's really going on with your father's business. I've saved your ass twice now. What's it gonna take for you to trust me?
That was so actory. There's this part where I become extra conscious about my ear, and I just did not do that in a subtle way at all. It was just so in your face. It's not that I don't trust you. If I say anything, you're gonna come after me.
And I'll save you a third time.
That was a good way of letting myself show the resistance to opening up about it, because it does inherently highlight the fact that this is sensitive information. But again, it's doing that in a way that's closed off, and it just doesn't have as much of that impact. And by the way, if you'd like me to break down your auditions to not only help you book more roles, but also get that first agent, then you can apply to join our acting group, the Acting Lab. You'll be able to get on live calls up to 4 times a week, where I'm gonna break down your auditions or recent acting clips. Apply in the description to see if you qualify, and you can start a 7-day free trial. Julius McCabe runs everything now. Every aspect of our life, even where I went to college. He wanted me to go someplace close by so he could get to me easy. Always keep my dad in line. This sucks. I'm just a complainy teenager. Yeah, he always wants to control where I go to college. I don't see the fear in this. Like, there is this fear in opening up, because if it is found out, he cut my ear off just to send a message to my dad. What would he do if I'm talking about actually sensitive matters? He's my shadow. McCabe always knows where my dad and I are, for all intents and purposes. It looks like there's like some creepy man in the corner that I just can't stop looking at. It doesn't even look like Reflectionville. It just looks like I'm distracted.
McCabe's the one who kidnapped you. Cut off your ear.
Yeah. Except the wet work was Polly. After he beat the hell out of me and locked me in a trunk for a few days. But all orders came from McCabe though, so... Why am I so nonchalant about this? I need to have more ear cut off energy. He used to complain about all the red tape with shipping, rules and regulations, and how expensive it was, but he used to brag about how he figured out all of these ways around a lot of it. I am really good at this part. This is where you have exposition dumping. And exposition dumping is one of the hardest things to do as an actor, because it's inherently boring, it's inherently in the audience's face, and it's all on you, the actor, to make it still interesting. And I think I'm doing a good job of having enough variation in my volume and my voice to display all of this kind of exposition dump in a relatively engaging way. Paying off dock managers and customs officials. He had this whole international system. This is a note I've given a lot of my students who have worked on this scene in the past. This is happening outside an ice cream shop while I'm talking about extremely confidential information that could get me killed. And there's no acknowledgement of this environment around me. There's no, let me make sure I'm not gathering unwanted attention. I'm just throwing it all out there. Yeah, my dad does this, McCabe does that, and I just don't care about anyone hearing me, which doesn't honor where I'm currently at. Now, remember, make sure to stick to the very end, because I'm not gonna just preach these notes. I'm gonna put it into action and recreate this scene, taking all of my own feedback. So make sure you see that at the very end. He took over my dad's system that he built.
And now he uses it to ship drugs.
Drugs? Maybe. I don't know. Neither does my dad. He just smuggles his stuff into the rugs and... Yeah, the vibe is just completely wrong. We're already at a point in this tape that no one has ever made it to, because I'm just already immediately clearly not matching the vibe. This is a completely different character. What started as me being a little bit more of a raconteur is starting to become a little, like, dull. You don't see any of my opinion on anything that I'm talking about, so it comes across as though I'm just saying random shit. I needed to attach more of how I felt about what I was saying for this to have a better impact.
You ever hear McCabe or your dad mention the name Xavier Quinn?
Not that I remember. Why? Who's Quinn?
Someone I met once thought he could be working with your dad.
I just wish my dad could have had a normal job, you know, like plumber or electrician. Okay, this is shit. I'm just going from one line to the next. I wish my dad had a normal job. Just completely isolated of all opinion. This feels like a watered down version of a scene. It doesn't feel like an actual scene. I hate it there. Hate it there. You're right, this is awful.
Any flavor other than chocolate or vanilla is nonsense.
What about strawberry?
Only in a pinch.
I'm more offended at the fact he's shitting on strawberry than I am that I got my ear cut off. It's ridiculous. I need to stop looking away so much because it's just creating this feeling like I have zero attachment to what's going on. We are in a public place. This is information that could get me killed, so I need to be a lot more precious about kind of making sure that Reacher is somebody that I trust. And just carry more of that trauma. I need to carry more of that emotional baggage, so I'm not so just blasé, so sweet after just getting the shit beat out of me.
There's a crack running down the middle, but nothing some epoxy can't fix.
Okay, good. Ice for your hand.
Thanks, don't need it. What flavor is this?
Is today's special? Lavender infusion.
This is why you get beat up in parking lots.
Oh, those guys have messed with me since grade school. Even before the ear. Made fun of me for having no friends, no mom, no one but a rich piece of shit dad.
Who cares what a bunch of assholes think?
Now, they're not wrong. My dad is a piece of shit. But for some reason, I still love... I guess because he's my dad. It's confusing. Do you know what that's like?
No, my dad was a great guy.
Yeah, it's stupid, but I've always had this fantasy that one day I'd just grab a set of keys to one of those cars from my dad's garage, blow through the gate, and disappear.
Well, if that's the kind of life you want for yourself, I can help you get there. But can't do that if you don't tell me what's really going on with your father's business. I've saved your ass twice now. What's it gonna take for you to trust me?
It's not that I don't trust you, okay? If they find out I talked, they'll come after me.
Then I'll save you a third time.
It's not my dad's business. Not anymore. Julius McCabe runs everything now. Every aspect of our lives, even where I went to college. He wanted someplace close by where he can get to me easy. Keeps my dad in line.
So the bodyguard's not there to protect you?
No, he's my shadow. And McCabe always knows where my dad and I are at. For all intents and purposes.
McCabe's the one who kidnapped you, cut off your ear.
Yeah, except the wet work was Polly. After he beat the hell out of me and locked me in a trunk for days, all on McCabe's orders, though. To get my dad to do whatever he wanted.
Like hand over his business?
More like his process. My father was selling rugs long before McCabe entered the picture. He'd always complain about the red tape involving shipping, the rules and regulations, how expensive it all was, but my dad used to brag about how he figured out a way around a lot of it. He paid off dock managers, customs officials, had the whole international system wired. Way he put it, he greased the wheels of commerce.
Brags a few too many times to a few too many people, and eventually this Julius McCabe catches wind.
Yeah, McCabe needed those routes, those shortcuts, but he didn't want to pay for them, so he made a big move.
Kidnapping and torturing you.
To take over the system my dad built.
And now he uses it to ship drugs.
Drugs. Maybe. I don't know. I don't know what he moves. Either does my dad. He just smuggles his stuff in the rugs, gets it where it needs to be, and we're just under his thumb forever.
You ever hear McCabe or your dad mention the name Xavier Quinn?
Not that I can remember. Why? Who's Quinn?
Someone I met once. Thought he could be working with your dad.
Yeah, why couldn't he just have a normal job? Like a plumber or electrician? Do we have to go back home yet? I hate it there. Can't we just stay in town the rest of the day?
Your dad said I'm supposed to keep an eye on you, not tell you where to go.
Thanks, Richard. Yeah, you were right. This is awful.
Yeah, any flavor other than chocolate or vanilla is nonsense.
Well, what about strawberry?
Only in a pinch.
If you enjoyed this video and you thought my performance was so much better, then make sure you subscribe. And if you would like to see similar improvements in your own acting by hopping on calls with me every single week, then apply for the group, The Acting Lab, below, so you can start learning the craft of acting, having more bookable performances, and getting agency representation if you don't already have it. We're only going to be doing this for a limited time, so apply in either the pinned comment or the description below to see if you qualify, and you can go ahead, get started on that 7-day free trial and start getting your first couple of acting wins and improvements.